Welcome to Connecting You Today. My name is Rosa Lukaising, and I'm the blind connector for this show. Welcome, everyone. My name is Rosa Lukaising, and I'm the blind connector for Connecting You Today. On this show, we will be blind connecting two incredible individuals, business owners and professionals, who are meeting here for the first time. They've been matched based on their backgrounds, their skills, their goals, and the vision that they have shared with me that they have in mind. I'd like to introduce our first guest, Samantha Pinto. Samantha has been an accountant for over 25 years and has recently started her own small business serving small businesses. Welcome, Samantha.
Thank you, Rosa, for having me on your show.
You are welcome. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm excited to talk with you today because I know that this is a brand new journey for you in the last year, and I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about where you are right now with this.
That's right. It has been an exciting journey. As you mentioned, I am an accountant. I'm a CPA here in Canada. I also have an MBA from Queen's. I have worked in the wealth management industry for most of my working years. But I did make a decision that it was time for me to move out on my own, and I have started up my own accounting practice. And I service individuals, small businesses, and charities, helping them with their bookkeeping and accounting and tax needs.
How is that going for you?
You know what? It's been a very exciting and progressive start. I've just come off a very, very busy personal tax season, and I'm looking to the next phase, which is corporate taxes.
That's very interesting. I bet you are.
Yes, I am, yes.
Get your teeth into it and use some of your expertise, right?
That's right.
Amazing. So what is it that you're looking for right now in a connection? Because you're looking for connections right now to expand your business. What's it you're looking for?
I am looking to expand my business in various ways, but connections, and especially the right ones, which is something that, of course, Rosa, you're brilliant at doing, putting the right people together.
Thank you.
But connections are so important because they help you meet the right people in the right spaces, in the right industries. And as I mentioned to you, I've got a lot of experience as an accountant, and I want to be able to leverage that experience to help small business realize their potential. Now, a lot of small businesses, the owners are busy doing what they do. Mm-hmm. They think they can track expenses and revenues, and that's the end of the story. But an accountant brings so much more value in terms of helping them interpret that data, producing reports on a monthly basis, keeping track of their cash flow, helping them get to those levels of efficiency and profit that is what they're in business for. And through the right connections, I believe that I can meet the right businesses, meet the right owners, the people that I can really add value to and help them take their business to the next level.
Fantastic. Sounds like you have a plan.
I do have a plan, and I'm hoping that, just connecting with you, it's going to really help me execute my plan.
That's great. That leads me to the next question. So what intrigued you to get on this show, the Connecting You Today show?
Well, when you told me about the concept in itself is very intriguing. To meet a blind connection, we're relying on your knowledge of us to put the right people together. And I know you are so experienced at that yourself, that I knew that you would connect me with someone who, together we could make both our businesses grow. So it's not about the connection simply passing business to me. It's about how I can support them. And together we can make positive differences.
Well, thank you for the confidence you have in me, Samantha.
Of course.
That's great. I will have a lot to live up to, so let's get to work.
That's right.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? What do you think for your business?
Wow. 5 years from now, I hope that my business is going to be, a lot bigger than it is, that I'm going to achieve the sort of results I'm going to help other small businesses achieve, which is hitting my revenue targets, being able to employ people here in Canada and contribute to the society that's around me.
Wonderful. So let me ask you, what keeps you motivated and inspired to keep doing this every day? What is that, or what are those things that really keep you going?
Well, I have met a lot of business owners in the business that I'm in. And what motivates me is helping them meet their challenges, overcome the problems that they have, and really help them get to the next level. And that's what motivates me, is to help them achieve their targets.
Okay, so a business is definitely set up to generate income for a living, right? When you look at the money motivator, how big do you want this business to be? Like, what does that mean to you to have your business grow? Is there something about the financial success of this business that inspires you as well?
My own business?
Yeah, your own business.
Well, money does make the world go around. So it is obviously a very important motivator, but it's not your first motivator, because no matter how much money you make, it's never going to be enough. Money comes from the other sort of things that you can do. And I believe that if we can all help each other and everybody can grow producing and servicing the industries that they're in, the money will come second.
I love your confidence, Samantha.
Thank you.
You know what? Every time I'm around you, I feel 10 times more confident. This is great. I love being able to support you doing this today.
Thank you very much.
So at this point, we're going to go on a short break, and then we'll introduce your blind connection. We'll be right back after the break. We're back with our second blind connection, and her name is Heather Holtavac. She is a financial planner and wealth advisor for over 25 years. I'm excited to welcome Heather Holtavac.
Thank you so much, Rosa, for having me.
Thank you for coming, Heather. Would you tell us a little bit more about your background and where you're going right now? What's your direction?
So I've been in the financial services industry for over 25 years. I have a CFP designation and a CDFA designation, which is a Certified Divorce Financial Analyst, and I have an EPC designation, which is an Elder Planning Counselor. I also have something called the Fellow of the Financial Planning Standards Council, which has been awarded by the Financial Planning Council that recognizes financial planners that give back and provide value. So
I did hear about that, by the way. I want to say deepest congratulations.
Thank you. So what I do for people is help them figure out where they are financially and basically give them solutions and options as to what they can do next to make their situation financially better.
Having spoken to you over the past few months, I realize you're really passionate about doing work in this field. Could you tell us a little bit more about what got you motivated or inspired to really sink your teeth into this field?
So my inspiration actually is very personal. So I've focused on women and boomers and caregivers, and primarily because when I was growing up, my mom was a teacher, and when she got married, she decided that she would give that up. And after having children and after 10 years, my parents got divorced, and she found herself basically isolated in the sense that she really wasn't sure what her next step was. She wasn't trained. Financially, she didn't know where to go to, who to talk to. And she thought she was working with an advisor that was helping her But when I came home once from university, I was in the conversation and he showed up in a BMW, dressed all, to the nines, talking about his pool that he was putting in, and then presented my mom with her investment statement that she only lost 5%. So
Oh my goodness.
it was a bit of a disconnect. It just seemed that there was a better way for people to get advice and to work with someone that was on their side, as opposed to looking like that they were only being self-serving. So it's very personal, and I've worked throughout the industry for the past over 25 years, educating and empowering and working with women and boomers to give them the tools they need to make a better financial life for themselves.
So you really feel that education is the way to go?
Yeah, absolutely. Because if you don't know what you don't know, then you can't ask the right questions.
Exactly, I agree. And maybe in our generation, the way we were brought up, we weren't told a whole lot about money and how to manage it, because usually the male in our family did that, right?
Well, the funny thing is, in the 50s, the women used to actually manage money, and it seemed like it got off track a little bit when women went out to work. There was a bit of there's so much for them to do, that seemed to be a skill that was left by the wayside. And we're not taught in our education system how to balance a checkbook. We're taught algebra, but algebra doesn't help you retire with the wealth that you need.
So tell me, how are you planning to do this? Have you got some ideas for seminars? Are you already doing some?
So I do a number of seminars, educational seminars at different libraries for the Alzheimer's Society, and promote financial literacy and try to be very interactive in what I do and listen to what people's concerns are and try to provide value. And every situation is different. So, what I do and what I'm continuing to do is financial literacy through education, seminars, to boomers and caregivers.
That's great. So is it, do you work more with boomers and more with mid-aged women, or is it sort of spread out evenly?
Well, I think it really depends. I mean, I believe in a conversation first, so I will always have a conversation with someone, see where they are and what their situation is, regardless of where they are, whether they have just been divorced or widowed, whether they know a lot, whether they're successful businesswomen. So it really depends on what their needs are.
So you do an assessment, a diagnosis, so to speak, and then you take it from there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah. I don't think you can discount anyone because you never know what someone's situation is.
Yeah, true. So tell me, what is it you're looking for in a connection? What are the qualities or what are the things you're thinking that might help you as a connection?
So I think for me, being a planner, I look at the overall situation. So I look for connections that are going to have synergies with my business. So, people that are in the same industry but do things different than what I do, because there's all kinds of different components. There's insurance, there's accounting, there's the investment, there's wills and estates. So there's all kinds of different connections that would work well with me.
Thanks for that, Heather. We need to go on a short break. We will be right back with our two blind connections on Connecting You Today. Welcome back. We're here with our two blind connections, Samantha and Heather. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Samantha, say hello to Heather.
Hi, Heather. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Samantha.
Heather, you've heard in the green room a little bit about Samantha's background and you've met in the studio, yes?
Yes, we have.
Great.
Briefly, yes.
Okay. So let me ask you, have you ever met or connected before?
No.
No, we haven't.
Wonderful. So what I'd like to do is get a little bit more insight into both of you, and then I'll share the synergies that I saw as to why I connected you here today. Okay? So, Samantha, would you share with Heather and myself and the audience a little bit about where you're going with your business right now? We've established that you are an accountant with 25 years experience and just started your own business. And you've heard that piece, right, Heather? Okay. Now, as far as what's happened for you recently, you shared that you had a little bit of a surprise with the influx of tax returns you had to do. Tell us a little bit about that and how excited it was for you.
So yes, I've just, as I mentioned, finished off with personal tax season, and that was, that was very interesting, very exciting. And now that that's come to an end, I'm looking forward to the next corporate tax season. And I was listening a little bit to what Heather was saying in terms of what it is you do and your background. And again, Rosa, as I said before, I mean, you made an incredible connection because working with financial advisors and financial planners is a wonderful experience because they do know so many people, and they have so many clients, both in the personal space as well as in the corporate space, because they themselves provide such a valuable service that certainly I think there's a lot of synergies between us in terms of how we can help each other with our own businesses.
Wonderful. And Heather, have you heard anything with what Samantha has said where you see a fit or some compatibility in your business?
Well, absolutely. I myself am a very heart-based advisor and provider of services that I provide. And when I was listening to Samantha, that's the feeling I got as well, that she's very in tune with what her clients need, and she's wanting to make sure that she can add value. And really, with a connection, that's what you're looking for, is that someone can help your client with their situation and make it better. So anyone that you can bring in as a second provider of a service definitely helps add value to the client.
Wonderful. So with your businesses right now, you're both in a transition phase, I might say. You've been working full-time for many years, starting off now in a whole new world, because being an entrepreneur is a whole other experience. Am I right?
Well, that's right. As an accountant, we're usually locked away in the back office. When you run your own business, you're now very front-facing. So I've actually had to come out of that back office and start meeting a lot of people. And I think, Heather, this is something that's probably more natural for you because you're always out there. But this is exactly where we can work together.
So Samantha, that's true. I noticed that you have changed your perception a little bit around networking lately, yes?
Yes, I have realized how important it is.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me at those events.
Thank you.
So Heather, tell us a little bit about your networking. How's that? How do you find it? Are there any challenges? What happens for you when you go to network?
Well, there's always challenges with networking. You want to make sure that you're using your time efficiently. So what I always do with networking is ask other people questions, because everyone always likes to talk about what their interests are. And that way you get to know people a lot better than trying to talk about yourself and what you do. And for networking, it's really about connecting with someone and finding out what their needs and opportunities are.
And what do you feel is the most important thing when you're looking for in a connection at a networking event? I'll let you answer that first, Heather.
I think someone that has the same outlook and perception. So again, when listening to Samantha, you could tell that she was very passionate about making sure her clients are looked after. Mm-hmm. And that's really what you want in someone that you may refer to and have as someone that you can refer your clients to and that can add value. So really having someone that you can work well with.
That's amazing, because I heard both of you say some very similar things. So would you like to hear what synergies I saw in both of you? I think it's evident by now, right?
Yes.
But I'll share, why I brought you two together. Samantha, when we speak, I get your passion, and you're very specific about how you want to do business. And, you really do make it look like people make money a bigger deal than it is, because you've learned somewhere along the lines how to make that work well without having it be the focus of your life. And so that gives you the time and effort to be able to take care of people without being distracted about money. And you're highly service oriented. But now that you're building a bigger clientele with in the world of finance as an entrepreneur, I thought of connecting you with somebody who's been in that world for a long time, who can probably blend her network with yours, and also because Heather already does seminars, education. You talk about education, you talk about education. If you can actually start putting on seminars together, look at me forming your business. But these are the things that came to my mind. I could just see both of you doing seminars together, education series or something online, just pulling your networks together and educating people. You've talked about women, you've talked about millennials, you've talked about boomers as well. You're already working in those two sectors. Can you see anything from what I'm saying, how it meshes together?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that providing education definitely is one way to add value. And when people see that you're not focused on the sale or the product, and then they really connect with you when you're trying to give information and make people's lives better by having to attend a seminar.
Right. Do you see anything else? Do you have a question for Heather that you'd like to ask, or do you see anything from what we discussed about what else could happen?
I don't have a question for Heather, but I would like to add a little bit more to what Heather said, in that at every stage of life, whether you're going through different age brackets or whether you're going through different situations in your personal life, and you can relate that to more of a corporate situation as well, because companies go through different stages as well. There are different needs, whether it's financial planning needs or whether it's tax needs. All these things work together. And someone like Heather can come up with plans to service the different stages of life. I come in more from the tax perspective, or more from keeping track of your accounting needs. But all these things change over time. So.
Absolutely. So then do I take it that you see a clear connection and you'd like to pursue this further? You'd like to explore the possibilities?
That would be really wonderful, yes.
Yeah?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's wonderful. So give me some idea. When you start connecting, though, what I'd like to ask is, over time, I would like to have a follow-up with you and just see how this journey ensues, see if anything comes out of it, because it could go in any direction. Agreed?
Yes.
Would you both be willing to stay connected to me at some level and let me know of your progress?
Absolutely.
Of course.
That's wonderful. So what's next for both of you now that you've met each other? How are you going to singe this connection, so to speak? What do you think?
I think it would be good for us to have another meeting and explore potential opportunities between the two of us.
Wonderful. And you, Heather?
No, absolutely. I think it makes sense to see what we may be able to do in a joint seminar. I think that would be wonderful, and provide each other with value for our clients.
Yes.
Well, you've made my day, ladies.
Thank you.
This is the idea of blind connections. And you've both showed your interest in each other. So I want to thank you so much for trusting me with the opportunity to do this blind connection with you. And I look forward to hearing your stories and your progress from here on. Thank you so much for coming on Connecting You today.
Thank
you for having us.
I think you've made a wonderful connection.
Thank you. I'm your host, Rosa Lokaising, and I'd like to invite you to join me on the next Connecting You Today.